and it's late at night, and I hear you crying, but then I know that nightmare is me.
How are you doing today?
Okay.
I remember in about 1972, after I'd worked with Swampwater, I remember one day getting a phone call from Santa Fe, and you were on the phone, said you wanted to cut a demo and that you wanted to come pay me for it in advance so you wouldn't spend the money. And then I remembered it was just a few days or maybe a week that you came to the studio. What drove you towards me?
Somehow I found your name and I just said, okay, I'll just check him out. Somebody recommended you, as a professional guy, and
Do you remember calling me and saying you want to give me a deposit?
Yeah.
And I think it was like $200 or something. Who was that we were doing it for? Who was interested?
Alan Livingston. Because when I met him, I just walked in off the street and sat in front of his desk and played for him. And he told me, if I had a record company now, I'd sign you. A few years before, I met Hugh Downs in Arizona when I first moved to Jerome, Arizona. And I sang a theme song. I wrote a theme song for Coons Crossing Country Day School, where we lived in Jerome, the community. So we went down to Phoenix and played at the radio station, and I was trying to hustle up bucks for Coons Crossing Country Day School. And I met Hugh Downs' daughter there, and she took me home, and that's where I met Hugh. She was opening up the guest house down below, and set off the burglar alarm, and called the cops automatically, and so we had to run up to the house, to the big house, and Hugh had come out, in his pajamas, and he was all, freaked out, and his daughter had to tell him that, no, there's nobody breaking in. I was just going to stick Mose in the house, and that's how I got introduced to him.
Yeah.
Well, the next morning I got up, and she says, I want you to meet my dad formally. And so I went up there, and I talked to him, and he says, and he's a very nice man, and very smart. And he says, I'd like to show you around. And he says, but you need a tape. I said, yeah, I don't have any tape. And he lent me money for my first demo, actual real demo tape. And I did that in Phoenix. I recorded it in Phoenix. And then I then I moved to New Mexico, and I had to keep it going. And I wanted a fresh tape, and trying to do the music business.
I remember you came in to do it, and a long, tall, skinny hippie guy. And you came in to do the demo, and I remember listening to you. You started with Beans and Make Believe and some of those things, and I was just sitting there, and I was mesmerized by the songs and the style. And I had just worked with Swampwater some, and they were kind of on that country rock vein. And so I called Dexter Schaefer, and I said, Dexter, this guy comes in here named Mose McCormack, and he does a demo, and I'm just knocked out by his songs and stuff. But he told me he was doing this for a company, and he was sending them the tape. And so I figured if they had any sense, they would work with you, because I thought the material and style was really good. And so I kind of forgot about it at that point. I just told Dexter, I really like this guy. And matter of fact, I think he said, well, send me a tape. I kind of forgot about it. And then after a little bit of time, I don't know whether you called me or whether I just called you I think I called you to say, well, what's going on with your demo tape? And you said, nothing yet. And I said, well, how would you like to sign a production deal with me, and we'll do an album?
Well, a left-handed man, red-haired country girl, soldier's dream turned to being kings of social worlds. So let's do it now while the time is so right, 'cause tomorrow I'm leaving over the ocean to the big fight. Well, a hard-headed man returned from the war, soldier's dream turned to washing machines. It's Sears and Roebuck on the 3rd floor. If you need a good washer, just see my old man.
That was the beginning of Mose McCormack and John Wagner's famous journey through historical years of music. We did that, and then I remember Dexter and I showed it to Martin Hurley at CMH Records, and he bought it. He bought it. In those days, we gave it to him. We were really happy with having done it, but that kind of slowly progressed to another stage where we started shopping you around other labels. We kept showing you and trying to look for other deals. But I remember the Beans and Make Believe album was our first completed project, and it was the first thing that put us out there in the marketplace.
I drove on these rails most of my life. Hypoxy coal train, highball down the line. Even the time on the OB special, I remember that Nancy Hanks unto the boys who wrote the railroad song, I give my heartfelt thanks. He got troubles on the main line, give me another rail. I flash on by, one blinking eye, all I leave is a smoky trail.